Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where are you join us today. Um, we are very glad to be here today. My name is Krista, and it's a truly pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Spider Project Community of Practice to this webinar entitled Human-Centered AI and Bi-Regional Collaboration. Before we begin, I'd like to share two quick announcements. First, please note that this session is being recorded, so you can share it or watch it later. And second, if you need it, you can activate the live subtitles in Spanish or Portuguese at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So now, I'm sorry. Welcome again to our webinar, Human-Centered AI and Bi-Regional Collaboration. To start, I want to give you a brief explanation about the community of practice of our project. And later, we have the presentation of the webinar of our first panelist. So then I will introduce our second panelist. Each of them have a presentation about 25 minutes. And finally, we will have about 10 or 15 minutes to questions and answers. So to start, I want to mention what is the Spider Project. The meaning of the letters of the name of a spider is a strategic partnership for the implementation of digital dialogues in research and innovation cooperation. That's why we prefer to use Spider, because it's too long. And now the Spider project is a European Union funded project to reinforce the collaboration between the Europe Union and Latin American and the Caribbean on digital transformation and exploiting the VELA network's potential and the implementation of outcomes for EULAC digital dialogues. Now, we are building our community of practice. The main objective of our community is to build a network that it's all about forging strategic partnerships and championing an inclusive and human-centered digital transformation through Europe and Latin America and the Caribbean. So why join to our COP? We are, as I mentioned, building strategic partnerships. You can have priority knowledge access. We are developing some innovation research about the digital transformation topics. And also you can have the opportunity to have peer-to-peer collaboration and learning and updates like webinars like this, and also have a space to visibility and recognition of your projects or your activities that are related with digital transformation in the region. So this is the QR where you can find a link to join to our community. Know if you have the opportunity to join by the link, sorry, you are now seeing my screen. Okay,
yes,
sorry.
The QR code.
Yes, so if you have the opportunity, can use this QR If not, later we also share the link by the chat. This is our space. We launched our website on January, and this is a dynamic space where you can find some general information about the project, have a list of our members, have a forum to have a space to share your ideas, some presentations or other documents, have a direct chat with the members, a list of our events, and also a repository about our researches documents and other presentations and the recorded sessions that we also have. So in this space, we share information about webinars on topics like today's. So we invite you to join us. And now I am very glad to introduce our first panelist, Agustin Gomez. Thank you so much for being here today. Agustin is a researcher at the Development Observatory Research Center of the University of Costa Rica, coordinator of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Observatory at UNED, and leader of the Artificial Intelligence team for digital transformation at UNED. Agustin is a specialist in statistics with a focus on information systems. So thank you so much, Agustin, for accepting our invitation today, and the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning to all. I'm very happy to share my thoughts and the opportunity that the Spider Project gives to us to share what we are thinking about human-centered artificial intelligence in Latin America. Sorry about the environmental noise that the local government decides to cut the grass in front of my house. So hope it will not interfere on this talk. I will give you, I'm going to share my screen. So I will give you a specific talk. I hope you see my screen. Can you please confirm that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was mentioning, this talk is gonna focus basically on what it means to be human-centered on artificial intelligence, the concept of what it is and what we need to understand about these capabilities in the region. And mostly because we have a local experience here in Costa Rica with a European project as well. And we are discussing the ethical use of artificial intelligence in higher education. And this project gives the opportunity to share some of the findings that we are encountering in this activity. Let me see. Okay. All the pictures that you are going to see in this presentation obviously are AI generated, and I tried to generate it not for a general purpose, but for a specific purpose that I will mention at the end of this talk. At the beginning of the talk, I would like to explore how is Latin America and why Costa Rica and other countries are doing what they are doing, and why it's important to be in the middle of the discussion of what is artificial intelligence, what are the impacts, and what are the goals, and what are the use that we as an academic profile have to do or have to invest in this kind of technology. These are the key topics of the agenda that I'm going to talk about you. We're going to make a brief definition of what is human-centered in AI, the application, the role, the governance, and I'm going to explain some examples of how a governance around artificial intelligence is being developed in Costa Rica and what is the scope of this at the regional level. And also, I would like to incorporate some recommendation on how future cooperation with European and Latin America can be addressed in this point. So, as we talk about artificial intelligence, the Latin American countries are in the crossroads or between two major leaders or two major philosophies. The US administration and all the dominance that they have on the building of the models of the LLMs or on the application that drive us to artificial intelligence. And on the other side, I'm not going to refer what are the positions. We have China, we have Europe as well, defining what are the goals of the artificial intelligence and this public representation of the public good of how we should address artificial intelligence. We have different scopes, we have different situations, we have different contexts, and how these models are built, and how the capabilities are transferred to Latin America as well. So we try to decide what are the best options for Latin America to drive these matters. And we have an excellent example of that with the National Center of Artificial Intelligence in Chile that is trying to build our local LLM. I will refer this later on the talk. But we are in the middle, or we are in between two major Goliaths colliding on what is the north of the future of artificial intelligence. We have, I think you are quite familiar with all these logos that I'm presenting. We are in between of what we can use, why we should use it, and what are the benefits of using each of these LLMs or each model. Felipe will address this on this topic. I will not going to talk a lot about this, which is the best model, why the model works as it works. But we are in between of a breaking point. We choose Gemini, we choose Grok, we choose Perplexity, we choose Cloud, we choose ChatGPT, of course, or we choose when the Latin American GPT is built. It hopes to be by the end of this year. It will be available for beta users to test it. But more far away from which model is the best, I think the discussion has to be with what are the ethical and what are the principles behind the development of each enterprise, of each laboratory, in order to build the model that are presented as today. Why human-centered? Artificial intelligence can either be deep and existing in social inequities as a transformative tool for human development. Human-centered approach means that all the decisions have to be driven to a human, according to the definition, but as well, the human has to be in order to control the decision and to understand the process that is behind the LLMs or the artificial intelligence or the artificial generative intelligence or whatever we are going to find in the next year regarding to general artificial intelligence. But the biggest issue here is how we prepare this human to be in the center of the decision, how we build the capability, how we build the next generation of working force in order to be in the center of the decision of the artificial intelligence, in which today it seems to be overpowering and overwhelming the capabilities of a human as we define it today. So we try to build this discussion in this project. I will give you the presentation link so you can access all the information that I presented to you today. But the principal question that we developed in this project is how we keep not only the human in the loop, how we keep the information, the decision maker, and build a trustworthy definition of how human can be, in fact, in the control or in the wheels, as we refer as an automobile, in the decision of the machine is doing and the understanding of the result that is given to us in order to make a decision. The European project called Ethical AI tries to approach these concerns and build some interesting toolkits as well. The first that I'm going to present you is the effort that we built with the collaboration of one of our partners, the University of Sapienza in Italy, and we tried to build what we call a whitewater rafting definition. On rafting, we have different types of problems that we need to solve in a matter of seconds before the disaster arrives. And in some points, the river is quite calm and we can share the view and appreciate all the beauty of the nature, so to speak. So we try to develop a framework trying to approach at least five or six specific topics. The responsibility in the use, the accountability, who is going to take responsibility of the decision according to this approach of human-centered in the artificial intelligence, the fairness of how we are going to give access to this technology, the transparency, the sustainability, and we add an additional that has to be with the health or digital health with the use of artificial intelligence. This product tries to represent how we can address a specific topic on artificial intelligence, but not only by defining how we can approach the human centered in artificial intelligence, not by only making the discussion, but by making it true. This is why at this week, for instance, the University of Costa Rica present his first guidelines and his first, I will say, political document regarding artificial intelligence for the administration of one of the largest universities in Costa Rica. Also, the Open State University present this week as well their own guidelines in the use and the principles that we have to address to artificial intelligence regarding these principles, how we can be responsible, how can be accountable, how can be fairness, how can be transparent, and how can be sustainable with the use of this kind of technology. So when we discussed about the application of, when we discussed the role of the academia and regarding the use of artificial intelligence, we have to address these four issues and how we can make transparency, how can make continuous evaluation, or how can we oversight the human decision in each step of the building and the creation of this kind of use. And as I was talking, the building or this honeycomb is one of the key issues that we address regarding how can we define how can the human be also in the loop regarding these five principles that we try to develop in the academia regarding to the European project. The biggest issue here is this honeycomb represent that we not only need to address this issue through the university, not only we have to address this to the school, to the courtship, or whatever the topics that you want to build, we need to actually think how can we develop the social literacy that is behind this use of artificial intelligence, and how can we promote ethical thinking, and how can we promote mental stability in order to not overwhelm the use of artificial intelligence in the higher education community, for example. So all these infographics that I'm going to present are part of this project and try to represent why it's in some point difficult to understand in which point of the decision making a human has to be in the loop regarding a specific topic, and in what are the capabilities of this human regarding this use of artificial intelligence. In this specific region, we have some key points that we need to address. For instance, we have, I think almost 4 days ago, the Peruvians have published their official law on artificial intelligence. Here is the number that they address to these specific issues regarding the impact assessment, the bias prevention, and the diverse creation of teams in order to address all the capabilities of artificial intelligence. In Costa Rica, we have guidelines. Also, we have a strategic for artificial intelligence. It's called the ENIA, but we are in the process of building the strategic plan, how we can implement this issue in all of the topics. The key strategic issue is how human can supervise all the topics addressed to artificial intelligence. And that's an issue when we don't have the adequate literacy in all the people, all the person that is behind the development of these politicals as well. I will address this affirmation later on my discussions. What is the academic leadership that we are trying to build here in Costa Rica, in specific, not Costa Rica as a country, but the University of Costa Rica as well, and all the public university, through the use and the discussion of what is artificial intelligence, what are the goals, what are the impacts, and what are the mechanisms in order to address these topics. For instance, one of the biggest issues that we don't have a national law, and there is not an issue in itself, is what it is at this point. Not all the countries have to build a national law to regulate, but to promote and to impulse the use and the use responsible of artificial intelligence. So in the University of Costa Rica, we address this by creating specific workshops in order to understand what are the guidelines, what are the topics, and build specific committees to propose this framework in order to be implemented by the local administration regarding the university, and try to share these findings with the community. Also, we try to focus not only in the guidelines as well, but how can we measure these guidelines? How can we keep track of the advance that we're having in regarding the training, regarding the education, regarding the use and the ethical use, regarding the outcomes that can be found in the artificial intelligence as well, and the operation regarding how can we optimize times of executing some specific task, or how can we measure if the tools are giving the return of investment that we are trying to seek in order to be more efficient in our decisions. So we try to build this framework not only as a guidance to how can we help the human to take control of the artificial intelligence, but how can we help him to measure this finding and to measure his effort in order to get a better use of the artificial intelligence as well. We're familiar that also Senat has the infrastructure to actually make some development of artificial intelligence as well as other institutes in the region. But we also find that we need to address specific models to build talent and to build the next generation profile in our education as well. We tried also not to drive the impulse of only adapting the artificial intelligence, but also to measure and to use responsible as well. As part of the research team that we developed in both university and the Open State University and the University of Costa Rica, one of the key issues is how we can make the use fairness and responsible regarding to the implementation of artificial intelligence. And if we are able to actually make some difference in the use and the effective use of artificial intelligence regarding to the energetic use or the carbon use or the emissions that are associated to these technologies, knowing that we don't have a direct impact, but we are users of this technology and we have to use it with responsibly as well. Despite all this advanced, Latin America remains deeply unequal in terms of digital readiness and digital transformation as well. I think you are familiar with the index that the artificial intelligence from Chile makes regarding how we can be prepared to use artificial intelligence or in the implementation and the use or the adoption. And we are encountering some major gaps between the urban and the region and the rural parts of some of Costa Rica as well, but also the infrastructure that support these decisions. So we think we should address not only keep the human in the loop, but how the tools that can be used to keep the human in the loop are according to the needs of the people that are in charge of the decision. So we try to figure it out this by making some comparison with the international best practices. For instance, this chart make you a quick brief of how schools in the United States or in Germany or in other parts of the country are using the artificial intelligence as well, and what are the capabilities that they have regarding the teachers' use, the student use, and overall how they can implement the ethical use and the committees to implement a student policy, adult policy as well, digamos, and the audit of the artificial intelligence as well, and the guidelines that will address this issue. So if we make a brief, quick search on the use of the artificial intelligence in university or in public administration, we could encounter this kind of charts of this kind of information, in which we have two questions: how is the impact, and how can we incorporate these best practices in our base of knowledge regarding artificial intelligence? I think, as I was mentioning, the Latin American region have major gaps compared, for instance, Chile with Honduras in this indicator of readiness of artificial intelligence, and how we can address this difference through Latin America. I think the Spider project is a quick example of how we can implement this kind of policies and how we can implement the literacy of artificial intelligence through decisions and through the building of infrastructure, digital literacy, multi-stakeholder inclusion. That is one of the key concepts that I want to address in these final minutes, and the contextualized governance as well. We cannot adopt, for instance, global model of governance of artificial intelligence without a preview review of the context of the country and the needs of the country as well. I think we also need to address the issue of how we can connect the people in order to not leave anyone behind, as the SDG mentioned, regarding the use of artificial intelligence, because we are going to increase a major gap in the education as well. I think enabling the social impact through the use of examples of how we can make the artificial intelligence in health part or education or environment can give you these short wins that can be addressed in order to make a specific impact. I think we have to address this. I'm going to be closing my participation with these four topics. I think the cooperation and the understanding and the discussion has to be focused on infrastructure, of course, regulation, because we need to make a baseline in order to get everybody crystal clear of what are the implications of using artificial intelligence, what is the implication of involving projects in artificial intelligence. We have to address a major issue that it is a topic by itself, that is the data governance, in how we can train the model, who can be used the model, who is going to be in charge of the use of the model, but basically who is going to make the supervision and the governance of the data itself. And of course, and not least, I think the talent that we need to improve in the region has to be a biggest issue. Because today we can find needs, specific needs for the students regarding, for instance, this infographic that shows what does a student need more than coffee? The answer is artificial intelligence. And this address is not a minor topic on how we can address this, because in this race of artificial intelligence, I think we are trying to make our best decision with the best information available at this moment. The problem is that we don't have enough time to analyze the decision because of the rapid growth of the artificial intelligence and the drive that is pushing us in the future. I think, yes, for closing my participation, that human-centered AI has to be a guiding policy in practice in Latin America, but have to be addressed with specific takeaways and specific issues regarding the benefits and the profits that we are going to address this topic. We need to build digital communities, and we need to actually try to not make the gap bigger between the different types of people that are actually using this technology. We need to build more bilateral cooperation between countries, between regions, and we need to discuss what are the goals of this cooperation and what are I was going to mention what are the scope of these treaties as well. And we have to maintain our perspective as neutral as possible and as academic as possible regarding the spaces that we are discussing. I think as conclusion, we need to look ahead what is going to happen the next 2 years, because as you can see in this AI generation picture, the future has not have to be driven by us. By us mean the people we are discussing this in this webinar has to be addressed by the next generation, and how this generation is going to be exposed to the intensive use of artificial intelligence, and if this generation is prepared to be the next human in the loop regarding the decisions according to the capability, to the understanding, and to the literacy of artificial intelligence as well. This is my contacts in the University of Costa Rica, as well in the Open University of Costa Rica as well. If you like to share some thoughts or connect, I'd be glad to contact to you and share all the other aspect of the research that we are driving in both universities. So with this, I will stop, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Agustin, for this important and interesting presentation. We are very glad to have the opportunity to work together, or have the opportunity to know more about the ULAC projects related with this special topic. So thank you so much for being here today. And now I want to introduce our second panelist, who is Felipe Garcia Montesinos. Felipe holds a degree in computer science from the Polytechnic University of Madrid and an executive master's in innovation. He is the founder and administrator of Nodal AI Technologies Group. He has also various leadership positions in organizations such as the Spanish Academic and Research Network, UNESCO, Servicom, Retesa, Retevisión, ABS, and Compass. Also, Felipe and her knowledge, gained through his extensive professional experience combined with his entrepreneurial skills has led him to found and participate in the creation of companies and incubators such as Net Solutions, Innosec, Intuito Group, and Homonus. Additionally, he is simultaneously the president and promoter of the Nodal Consortium Group Association and the Nodal Foundation by Inspired Open Knowledge. So thank you so much, Felipe, for accepting our invitation today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to share with all of you all the knowledge that I have, because I am one of the old runner of internet and AI. This means that I am very old, 62 years old. and this only means that I have a lot of mistakes in the professional and personal life. Okay, let me share. No se detecta el idioma. Okay, let me share my. No, it's said to me that only the host can share the meeting. Maybe
now you can have the permission. Can you try again, please, Felipe?
Thanks. Okay, let me share. That's okay. You can.
Now,
can you share?
yes,
Show
we
the.
can see it.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think that this is a very good opportunity, but in my own opinion, I think that there is nothing more than human-centered than the collective intelligence. This is what we are involved in for more than 15 years, and all that we deploy in these years is all around the collective artificial intelligence. Let me participate with all of you with this. Let me see. Yes. I want to make a very interactive presentation. Okay. All what we prepare about collective intelligence, it was a mistake. When I was starting the first project on collective intelligence, I start with a very bad hypothesis. If I share with you, this is the knowledge of the three people. What do you think that is the collective intelligence? Any suggestion about where is the collective intelligence in this diagram?
At the center, I would guess, at the point where all the three merge.
Yeah, perfect.
But
This is my first mistake. Exactly.
But about the two persons.
Yes, tell me. Repeat, please.
Yeah, the knowledge between two persons, two people.
The knowledge between two, for instance, this one.
And with the others.
With the others. This one.
I guess.
Yeah, but my first mistake was to tell the team that the collective intelligence was the value of the intersection of key 1, key 2, key 3. And all my team say, no, Felipe, this is doesn't right, because this means that it's 0. The intersection is 0. And I say to all my team, no, it can be possible because everybody say that collective intelligence is the best. It's very important. After 6 months of hard working, they convinced me that the right answer is the complementary of the knowledge. If I came here to explain what is collective intelligence, or better, what is something that you already know, you say, no, Felipe, this means that we already know something about this. No. But this is this is the complementary of the intersection. After 6 months, they have risen, and we deployed the first version of collective intelligence using the complementary of the knowledge. The most important thing in collective intelligence and the human being is not only the collaborative, because the collaborative is the knowledge union of all the knowledge of the people. But in a group of people, the most thing is that, for instance, in my team, Pedro, the mathematician, is a very good expert in mathematics. I am computer science expert. And we have psychology researchers, okay? And this is more powerful because we need something in the middle that join us, but the powerful tool of our three knowledge is the complementary. What we can do together that we cannot do alone. And this was perfect because we start to deploy our collective intelligence technology. We have a different vision of many other things. And after I will go to the presentation after this. And in 1918, in 2020, we start to work with National Supercomputing Center in order to parallelize our technology. And moreover, after parallelize the algorithm and move to Amazon, we are running the following architecture that I will show you later in real time, and we start to think that our algorithm of collective intelligence could be very good in quantum computing. And now we have 4 startups working in different areas of knowledge in deployment different areas of the algorithm of the collective intelligence using quantum computing. The great thing is in the architecture that I will show you on collective intelligence is that in these 15 years, we introduce several versions that involve more human AI technology. For instance, everybody talk about ethical AI. Well, we are the only company in the world, sorry, but it's true, that we implemented in collective intelligence algorithm an ethical engine that avoid the company, the startups, to control what is acting and happening in our AI technology. Another thing that is very important, for instance, the motivation engine. Something in psychology told me 8 years ago that in our former version of the algorithm say, Felipe, this is very good, but listen this. There is no right decision without the right motivation. I called my mathematics Pedro and say, Peter, we need to rethink this. And it's true, we are now involved in the deployment of the motivation engine, joining with the ethical engine, and other startups of the ecosystem are deploying several modules that all of these are a vision of a very human-centered AI technology. This is very important for us. Let me focus before follow that trying in this time that GPT means that everything in AI seems to be a neural network or LLMS model, that I disagree a lot. It's true that we deployed the first version of our algorithm that Pedro el Matemático designed it as a machine learning algorithm, but the first version was not AI. But when I show you in the next slides our architecture, you will know how we involve all the technology, but not all the machine learning algorithms are AI. And this is the reason because I like so much when Sebastian Rasca provide me these slides. And this is very important because I think that there are another machine learning technologies that provide different algorithms that learn. And this is the right vision. And we also use neural network in the front end of the algorithm, but one of the things that everybody knows is that the neural network cannot explain what is the reasoning that they use to provide solutions. But now with LMFs, the people is using very bad the output of the technology. We are always fighting with the people trying that explain that it's very good to use LLMs into other AI solutions, ¿vale? In order that we need to explain to people why we are doing these solutions, ¿vale? These answers. Well, and this is very important for me to explain before follow with the artificial collective wisdom. When we start, we made in our collective intelligence, but now we are involved in deploying collective artificial wisdom because we need to provide goals and experience and other modules that try to converge with the solution that we are looking for. And we need to approach to this solution in order to provide not only explainable solutions to the people, we need to provide efficient solutions. After this first stage of the deployment of algorithm, I like to explain that one thing important is the different point of view that have the people. Now, we use ChatGPT using the information and the training model of big data documents and amounts, but we don't know anything about the information at what the end user think about the importance of this solution. No, for me, sports is not very interesting. Only when my friends of the school are very enthusiastic about the final of the championship, for instance. I don't like the football match, but in order to spend time with my friends, I can have another point of view to the sports, and we can change all my decisions in terms to have different solutions to the progress. This is one, and this is more important because each time that I need to implement my technology in clients, we need to approach and combine the information system that the company have, that they have no knowledge environment, only data environment, and we need to provide with this, our solutions, as I will explain, how we get more information and balance the information inside the company with the outside of the company in terms to provide each user outside of the company and inside of the company the best solution for each profile. That is very, very important to have this different point of view, because if you only have the information of your company, you will have the solution of your problem only in the data domain of your company. But mainly, you need to increase the probability of the solution, incrementing and adding information and about social network, about competitors, and many, many other sources. And its decision that you implement with wisdom function, we need to integrate in the whole company systems. And we, as I showed you, we are the knowledge system that we, how do you say, we are the middleware of knowledge in all the companies that we provide our solution. This is very important because in this schema, you know that we get data, we clean data, but always we use a semantic approach to the problem that we need to solve. This is why we need an ontology language that when we transfer data in semantic events, we provide this to the collective intelligence language in our backend. After this, we provide decision with a very semantic infrastructure, and the meaning of the solution can be explained to the end users. This is very, very important. I always try to explain that with data, you can sort it, arrange, classify, and many other things, but with knowledge, you can solve many different problems with the ability to have explainable technology, collective vision, rules and facts in order to approach to the best solution with the minimum error that you need in your different cases. This is very important because always we are all the time fighting with the system information of the companies in order to move from information system into a mix between information system and the future of cognitive computing. This is not our best and a huge problem when we arrive to a company. This is very important. And this is our complex architecture. In 80 years, when I start to work with Lisp and Prolog, I have many things that I have not. It's true that now we have many GPUs, we have a big internet and a lot of sources of data, but in other things, I have nothing real powerful to create a very sophisticated AI. And then we divide in a big infrastructure or ecosystem of modules that are using for several startups and different modules that can have like the brain, a specialization on some kind of solution. In the front end, we have crawlers. In this area, we have many crawlers that provide information and data that from multiple outside sources that combine in one point, this one, that this is the a semantic valid event. Then when we have this event with the ontology that we define for the system, we include in this piece of software that this is our algorithm that in real time change this information in a knowledge base. This knowledge base, we need to use MongoDB because MongoDB have the only potential in terms to deploy the vectors, semantic vectors that we invited in terms to deploy our own technology. This is very important because in real time, we have several modules that interact with our knowledge base that in real time is changing like different and constant dynamic interpretation of what is really happening with the information, transform it in in a semantic way. And then we provide wisdom solutions as software as a service in different matching that is also in a parallelized way in terms to provide wisdom solution that permit to predict it, recommend, compare anything that the company or our startup decide that this is the problem that he need to solve. For instance, the first startup was Talentfy. Talentfy say to me, Felipe, I have a very, very interesting idea about how to use your technology, your collective intelligence algorithm in terms to recommend people not only a job for the curriculum and the profile of the job, but especially with the team that the person that we need must be incorporated in this team. And I say, oh, I have an idea about human resources, but this is a very nice. And this is the reason because we have a startup that they provide very interesting solution using our technology and our algorithm. And each startup provide different modules or engines that give very good solutions in using our collective intelligence. We have in logistics, we have in for instance, yes, this is very important because we have a sphere, a startup from very, very interesting entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs that create their deployment a sustainability engine that provide the impact of the decision using collective intelligence in terms that have as such a kind of balance in the decision that the companies and the people have in terms that have a very good profitability without damage the planet. This is a very interesting. I have a lot of entrepreneurs that have a very, very good ideas, and I'm happy that use talent. You can share me?
I can see your screen.
Ah, okay. I was in a moment I was stopping everything. Okay. Well, this is my own vision of collective intelligence is the powerful tool in terms to provide AI centered for human being and provide the best impact for the human decision and explainable technologies. Thank you very much for your time, and this is your time now.
Thank you so much, Felipe, for your presentation and also for being here. I don't know if someone of the audience have a question to Felipe or to Agustin about their presentations or something that you want to share about AI centered, human centered.
If I can say something, I would like to thank you for being here with us today. It's amazing because I was, during the morning, I have been in a project review meeting with the European Commission about the AI use in health domain. And some of the aspects that you have raised today here have been really taken into account in in the project that we just finished. So I think that both things are really very relevant. I mean, your approaches. So I would like to thank you, because I think that this information is also very important for what Spider is promoting. So I don't have any specific question. Just thank you for your talks.
Maybe someone else have another comment or another question. I don't know.
I have a small question to Agustin, because he said UCR has recently approved an ethical strategic for AI on the university. So can you tell us a little more about that and what is related with this topic of human centered? What do you think about that, Agustin?
Yeah. Also, I can share you in the. Thanks for the question, Carlos. Also, I can share you in the chat the guidelines for the University of Costa Rica. The first key issue that we address in this policy is the consolidation of a small group, a tactic group, in order to develop the specific implementation of these guidelines. The guidelines refers, I think, around 12 principles, mostly used in the teaching part, but as the research and as part of the society as well. That means that the artificial intelligence guided is not only to regulate the use of the artificial intelligence in the classroom, for instance, but also to approach how the people can interact, leaving no one behind, making no specific gaps between the students, and also making a brief reflection of how the society looks at the university and expect from the university this kind of approach. I think this is the major, I can see, milestone in the university. Sorry for the environmental, because we are close to the festivity and I have a local school practicing for the independence of Costa Rica. And I don't know if you can hear all the drums right now. But basically, I think the University of Costa Rica tries to make a short reflection of how we can use the artificial intelligence not only for supporting the decision of the teacher or supporting the researchers, but as a philosophy of doing the things. That is one of the biggest milestone in this guidelines, and also I think is a starting point for the discussion, as it was mentioned earlier in my presentation. We are lack of literacy in major aspect of how the artificial intelligence works and how we can interact with it. I think one of the key aspects is how the public university will address this issue in the later years. I will upload the policy here in the chat so you can get access to it.
Thank you, Agustin. Very much. Can we continue?
I don't know if someone have another comment. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure, Krista.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I just want to say thank you. It was very interesting from both sides. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Georgina. So if anyone else have another comment, I don't know if we have a forum open in the community of practice. So if you have another idea to share or some documents that are related with this topic that you want to share with the community, we invite you to join us in the community of practice and share with us your thoughts and your comments about the presentations of today. We also have recorded the session, so if you want to share it with another people who are interested in this topic, be free to do it. And thank you so much to Felipe and to Agustin for joining us today and in this important topic that is something that all of us are related to now, not only in this project, in life. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope that we work together in the future too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day,
Bye
everybody.
bye. Have a nice day, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you to everybody. Have a nice
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you, everybody.
you.
Bye.